first 8 minutes of the second half, that Washington State really took it to us. They're a much improved team from a year ago. We sensed that watching them on film. You know, their game at Cal was a game that could have gone either way on the road. They've gone to Washington and won, and they came into this game 3-4. Before, and they're a much better team right now than they were maybe in November, but they're a much improved team from a year ago, and that's part of the story. The other part is you can't just incorporate a player, and even though Alonzo played well tonight, and all of a sudden just be hitting on all cylinders from the first second that he's able to play until now. I mean, there are things that we need to improve, adjust, figure out. And tonight felt funny because against UCLA, we were on the road. Raleigh got in some foul trouble. So because he was in
a team that doesn't have the recognition, as you said.
a little bit, but if you're trying to be an excellent team, those are the teams that have that part figured out. But over the long haul of a 31-game regular season, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be times where you're sloppy. There's going to be times where, even though you're a good free throw shooting team, you're not going to make them. Even if you're an excellent defensive team, we've had some great defensive teams that have had bad defensive games. So tonight I don't think was a byproduct of us overlooking Washington State. It was that we weren't at our best. Credit Washington State, and also, like I had mentioned, we're trying to work through some things here that I hope, if you watch us a couple weeks from now, we'll be that much further along.
Does it almost feel like you're starting over a little bit because you have this ninth person in the rotation to find the right mix?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I just think there's certain things that feel different. If you talk to our players, I'm sure they feel a little bit different. Alonzo played great tonight. He had 7 assists and 1 turnover. This is a player that had 31 assists on the entire season last year. And in 2 games, after missing 19 games, he has 11 assists. So he's at over a third of his assist total from a year ago in 2 games. He's a much better player. You see that, and he adds a dimension to our team that we're grateful to have. But everybody else has to learn their role. He has to learn his. And I think that as we keep moving forward, it'll even out, as it always does.
The changes with him sort of in that rotation affect you defensively, or is that more a case of effort or something else that we're kind of broke down every time?
I don't know. I'd have to watch it. I didn't think our transition defense was as good, and that's to Washington State's credit. But sometimes that happens as different combinations of players are in together for the first time. That's what it looks like in November. You're just not used to each other. And that's something we have to work on and correct. But that's all part of what I'm talking about, of incorporating a new face with new rotations. You're looking around, and you've never been in the game with that combination of players before. So it'll work itself out. It's not a negative, it's a positive. But I think that anybody in here that it would expect us to be like a finely tuned machine across the board, it's going to take a few more games. It's going to take more practices. and more of us as a staff watching film. And tonight, Washington State did a really good job against our team.
What do you think Alonzo is in terms of his productivity? Because he admitted that he's not there yet. He's far from.
Just like our team, every game that goes by, the next couple of weeks, he'll eventually settle in. If you look at the start of a season, it usually takes a couple exhibition games, which he didn't even have that. A few of the regular season games, a game on the road, a game at home, and all of a sudden you start to see that everybody settles in. And that's where we're at right now. We're in that settling in process. But again, he played a very good game tonight.
Over the last couple of years, it seems like around this time of the year, guys are dropping for you. Brandon Ashley a few years ago got hurt right around this time. Now you're adding a piece, and such a valuable piece this late in the year. What is that? Does that really boost you in terms of just, the rotation and everything at this point in the season getting it?
Yes, no question. It's nothing but a positive for us, and especially because we've had a lot of players develop confidence, develop experience because they've had such big roles. They still have a bigger role, but we talk about it with team success. The individual goals that are in our locker room become realized. You're not going to get those rewards if you're just okay. So everybody has to sacrifice, and with that sacrifice, we hope we can reach a higher ceiling and maybe achieve as a team more than we otherwise could have.
You're talking about Trier, obviously, but you still have Markkanen, who went 3 for 3 from deep. He does what he does. I mean, probably nothing surprises you to this point.
For him not to be considered one of the best freshmen in college basketball is a complete joke. I will put him up against anybody, not just a freshman, toe-to-toe, the quality of player he is, period. I don't care if you're from Finland, Russia, China, Japan, North Dakota, Florida, California, New York City. If you have eyes and you're watching Arizona play, there aren't many players that play the way he plays. Tonight he had 13 rebounds, 16 points. The 3 threes he hit in the first half were threes that you don't oftentimes see a guy make in college. He's a very good player. He's a great teammate, and he has other guys that he's playing with that are very good as well. But once in a while, you just pay attention, even if you're not trying to, and you look at, hey, here are the best freshmen in the country, and I'm looking there and I'm saying, are you serious? It's not even close. And Raleigh and Kobe are also outstanding on a very good team. But just watching Lauri play, I think he deserves a little bit more credit than he's getting.
That said, why limit him to just being a freshman? Overall, I mean, he's playing that well.
Yeah. This spring, no one's going to limit him to a freshman.
How do you see Lauri's future as a player?
Extraordinarily bright. The thing about him that stands out, and I've said this throughout the fall and now during our season, he loves the game. He works as hard at the game as any player that we've had. And although he's very, very talented, he's a great teammate and unselfish. I mean, those 3 things usually don't accompany somebody who you're talking so glowingly about. He helps team chemistry. He's a winner. His teammates enjoy being around him and playing because it's not about him, it's about the team. And he's willing to do everything that you ask him to do as a coach. So his future is very, very bright.
Hawkinson came into the day averaging over 10 rebounds. He only had 5. Markkanen grabbed a couple just right over him. Can you talk about specifically his rebounding effort tonight?
We did a good job on Josh overall, and some of that skewed because his partner there, Connor Clifford, went to work. So as Josh maybe wasn't his normal productivity, part of it was number 42 had a big game. I mean, 8 2-point field goals against our defense, and it's something that we have to work at. Our schedule, if you start going backwards on our schedule, we haven't played recently against a lot of low post scorers. Even UCLA and SC, they have more forwards, face-up guys. And tonight we went up against that back-to-the-basket big guy, and we didn't handle it as well as we needed to. So that's a challenge for us to fix.
You had mentioned that Parker wasn't quite at 100% before UCLA. Where would you assess that he is at right now, considering he only played 17 minutes tonight?
He's getting closer. Once in a while we see him, favor it or limp early in practice. But, tonight he didn't play as much, but he did a good job. He had 5 assists, no turnovers. And, that's part of it. Tonight maybe he didn't play quite as much. Sunday he will. It's just every game there's going to be a difference in our team because we have quality depth. And tonight's quality depth, people have to sacrifice, not just Parker, but everybody.
Anything else?
You got some early thoughts on Washington Sunday, what you're seeing in them so far?
Yeah, Markelle Fultz, obviously a terrific player. I'm looking at how many points he's scoring and, the accolades, the way people talk about him. I've just watched them in bits and pieces, but we know he's a great player. We know they're an offensive rebounding team, and they have a talented group. And just like tonight, we have to be ready to go. The thing about a conference season, you have to be ready each and every night. It's not the name of the other team. It's the name of our team. And, we have to hold ourselves to the standards that we're trying to live up to. And like I had mentioned during this press conference, we're a work in progress in a lot of ways. And, these next couple of days in Washington's another opportunity for us to grow and improve.
Sorry to ask you this dumb question, but what did you think of the gold jerseys tonight? Those were, I don't know if I've ever seen those, the white and gold. Is that something that you pay attention to?
Yeah, Nike, they take great care of us, and we have quite an arsenal of uniforms for sure, But probably felt funny looking at us play with gold. But those are the uniforms, and we have plenty of choices.
Just following up on mine, what are your thoughts on Fultz? And people seem to expect because he's so good, Washington should be better. Is that a lot for one guy to deal with?
Yeah, for sure. I haven't watched Washington a ton, so any comment I give on Washington is just more of an opinion than anything. I've clearly recognized Markelle Fultz, who's a great talent. He's having a tremendous freshman year, and we recruited him, so we know a little bit more about him. But them as a team, every team hits their stride at different parts of the year. I'm sure they're trying to put it together and hit their stride. So we have to be ready. It's an afternoon game. We have a quick turnaround, and we have to be ready to go.